What is up, guys? In the previous video we went ahead and discussed how we can create a class and an object, and when we ran the program we got two descriptions of two different cars. Now in this video we're going to go ahead and learn how we can create initializers to make it so it's a lot easier to create the car and that we don't have to write all of these lines of codes when we create a Tesla. So we're going to be using the same code from earlier, except we're going to add some specifications, such as all of these variables are not going to have any values. They're going to be changed to type string, to type int, and to type of string again. And we're also going to get rid of this section here where we change the values for Tesla. So right now it's a bit less and we still have a lot to do here. So the next thing we need to do is go ahead and create an initializer. And the initializer is going to be used as soon as we create a car, such as Tesla or a regular car. The initializer is going to be called and it's going to execute the code inside there. So to create this initializer, we need to specify the init keyword followed by the parameters that we want to insert, such as car type, and that's going to be of type string. Then we can go ahead and get the max speed, which is going to be of type int, and the kind of fuel, which is going to be of type string again. Then we're going to go ahead and create a block, and inside this block we're going to go ahead and assign the values that we get in the constructor down here to these ones over here. And the reason I created it like this is to also teach you about the self keyword. So as you can see, we have two different variables in the same class. One is an argument that says car type, and one is a variable which says car type. But how do we know which one we're referring to when we type it on later? And that's exactly where the self keyword comes in. So inside here, we're going to go ahead and type in self and car type. And if you actually click on this, you're going to notice that self.carType is going to highlight the variable car type. It's not going to highlight this one here, because self refers to the variable inside the class, not the initializer. So anytime you want to make sure that you're referring to these variables, you're going to have to include the self keyword. So self.carType is just going to equal the car type. Then we can go ahead and do self max speed is going to equal max speed, and self.fuel is going to equal the fuel. So as you can see, I picked these names just with the sole purpose of showing you that we can use the self keyword in case that ever happens. And now to demonstrate that the init keyword is always called when we create a new class, we're also going to add a string that says preparing the /car type ... Now we still can't run the program because as you can see down here, we have two errors. And if we go over that error, it's going to say that we're missing the arguments to make this class work. And that's because we created some variables that we told the program will be assigned as soon as we add the init block. So inside here, we're going to have to go ahead and add these variables. As you can see in Tesla, now we can specify the car type, which is going to be Tesla. Max speed is going to be set to 320, and the fuel is going to be set to electric. And we're just going to comment out the regular car for now, because we also have to provide the arguments for that. But if we run the program, we're going to get the code in the initializer that says preparing the Tesla, and that the Tesla runs on electric at 300 kilometers an hour. So that's just what happens when we create an object such as car with these parameters. It calls the initializer and uses all of the code inside there as soon as we create a new car. But now I also want to show you a way that we can use an initializer in case we have no parameters that we want to add. We just want to make a default car and change it later, for example. And to do this, we're going to go ahead and create a convenience initializer. So right below the initializer, we're going to go ahead and use the keyword convenience init. And this is just what should happen if we do not provide an initializer. So here we're going to go ahead and call self.init, and then we need to call the initializer and the parameters inside there, such as car type, which is going to have a default value of default, followed by max speed, which will be set to 200, and finally the fuel, which will be set as a default to diesel. So with this very basic syntax, now we are not required to provide an initializer, and we can also create a car without having to use all of this information. So if we run the program, we're going to get that it's preparing the Tesla and preparing the default car, and then it's going to add the default information over here. But just to sum it up, the initializers are usually where you place code that you want to be executed as soon as someone tries to create an object, such as a car or a lamp. You might want to add some extra code there that makes it more specific. But that's actually all I wanted to cover in this video, and in the next video we're going to be going over what enums are.